I worked at a place where we were trained to lie, not sometimes, every time. They told us customers were wrong, even when the system proved they weren't. Then one coworker started asking questions. They didn't fire me. They erased him. And now, I'm next. The job seemed simple. I worked at a customer support center, late shifts, dim lighting, rows of identical cubicles humming with voices that sounded just a little too rehearsed. We handled calls from confused customers asking about charges, services, or accounts that didn't make sense. And every time, we lied. Not small lies. Not white lies. We were trained to deny things that were clearly real. Charges that existed. Services people never signed up for. Entire accounts that had no business being active. If a caller insisted, we had escalation protocols. But escalation didn't mean solving the problem. It meant redirecting the lie to someone more convincing. There was a guy named Daniel. He sat 2 rows behind me. Quiet, observant, the kind of person who listens more than he talks. He didn't fit in with the rest of us who eventually learned to switch off empathy like a light. One night, after a brutal call where a woman begged me to explain why her bank account had been drained, Daniel leaned over and whispered, "You ever notice how the system shows one thing, but we're told to say another?" I didn't answer. Because yes, I had noticed. But you don't survive long there by asking questions. Daniel didn't stop. Over the next few days, he started digging. Taking notes. Screenshotting internal systems. Cross-checking data we weren't supposed to even think about. Then one night, during a break, he showed me something that made my stomach drop. A list. Hundreds of names. Marked as resolved. But every single one had the same note attached, customer unreachable. That's not possible, I said. They're not unreachable, Daniel replied quietly. They're gone. I laughed. Nervously. He didn't. The next day, Daniel didn't show up for work. No call. No message. No explanation. Management told us he had resigned unexpectedly. They deleted his account. Cleared his desk. And then, this is the part that still keeps me up at night, they updated the script. A new line added under escalation: if the customer claims missing funds or identity discrepancies, reassure them no such records exist. Word for word. Exactly like the cases Daniel had been investigating. That's when I realized something terrifying: we weren't just lying. We were covering something up. And Daniel wasn't the first person to notice. 3 nights after Daniel disappeared, I got a call that wasn't on the system. No caller ID. No account number. Just a blinking line and silence on the other end. I almost didn't answer. I wish I hadn't. Hello? I said. Static. Then a voice. Faint. Distorted. But unmistakably human. You need to stop reading the script. My chest tightened. I think you have the wrong, they told you I quit, didn't they? I froze. It was Daniel. Or at least, it sounded like him. I don't know what you're talking about, I said, instinctively slipping into the script. Silence. Then, they're listening. The line crackled. Check the back-end logs. Hidden layer. Search for Archive 0. That's where they put them. Them? I whispered. People who asked too many questions. My screen flickered. For a split second, just a second, I saw something I was never supposed to see. A hidden interface. Rows and rows of profiles. All marked. Archived. Not deleted. Not inactive. Archived. And Daniel's name was at the top. I don't understand, I said. You will, he replied. But when you do, don't trust anyone there. The call cut. My system reset instantly. Logs wiped. No trace the call ever happened. I reported it to my supervisor. That was my second mistake. He smiled. Calm. Too calm. You must be tired, he said. Why don't you go home early tonight? Security walked me out. Not aggressively. But firmly. As I stepped outside, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. One message, you weren't supposed to see that. I turned around. The building, my workplace, looked normal. Too normal. Like it had nothing to hide. But I knew better now. Because I had seen the archive. And if Daniel was right, those people weren't unreachable. They were somewhere. And now, so was I.